Thank you for being here. Really appreciate not only connecting with you virtually, but sharing the space with you. Before we get started, I just want to invite you to just take a pause. We're just going to do a quick energy reset. Just take a moment. So whether you're sat on your desk, you're on your couch, maybe some of you are in bed as well, no judgment. Just going to ask you to just stop for a moment and just take a deep breath in through your nose. And then a deep breath out through your mouth, and you might need to sigh it out and just wiggle out any tension that you might have. And also let me know, how are you feeling? And be honest, when I ask that, I genuinely mean, how are you feeling? Are you a bit tired? Is it curious? Are you excited, nervous, or just blah? That's also a feeling, and that's also welcome. Let me know in the chat how you're feeling. And throughout the next 20 minutes, I invite you to be fully present within yourself, because what I'm about to share with you is not only going to change how you work, it's also going to change, hopefully, how you live. And that is going to be focused on how do you manage your energy, and why actually time management is so outdated, and why as women and people that identify as women, we are not necessarily working in our power. And so how do we actually start to work like a woman and reclaim that power? How do you do that? Why it's important, and really focus on why working like a woman is the smarter choice. It means you're working smarter rather than working harder. Let's get into it. We're gonna start off with playing a little bit of a game. Never have I ever. Some of you may have played this in the past, or some of you might still be playing. I know for me, played this many times, but this is gonna be the clean version, I promise. Because I can sense like some people side-eye me like, where is this going? This is going to be the cleanest version of never have I ever that you've ever played. I'm just going to present to you these statements, and if you do resonate, put me in the chat. Let me know. Again, judgment-free zone. This is a safe space. So first one being, never have I ever felt exhausted mentally, emotionally, and or physically, but still forced myself to keep going. If this resonates, put me in the chat. And the second one, never ever ever made a to-do list, but halfway through the day, I'm just staring at it. And really, my heart knows it's not gonna get done, but I just want to keep pushing through, and it ends up not even getting done. If that's you, put me in the chat. And the last one is, never have I ever felt guilty for resting, like I really should be doing something. Like, why am I just laying here and not doing anything? If that's you as well, please put me in the chat. And there's a special prize for people that are like, yeah, I'm all three. I'm also all three. Definitely have experienced all those three statements, and I can resonate with all of them. And again, thank you for everyone that's sharing that, saying me, because this is so real, and it just goes to show that you are not the only one. It's all of us. We've been conditioned to believe that productivity equals our self-worth, self-love, value, our self-respect. And as women, it's so important that we're able to separate and distinguish between the two. Your productivity does not equal your self-worth. It does not equal your self-respect, your self-love, and your self-value. And also, when you look at the most successful people, the ones that are in alignment, they're not using time to manage their productivity. It's not about time management. It's really about energy management. And they're also not basing their self-love, their worth, their self-respect on their productivity output. You can also be part of that. Now, before we dive deeper, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Patience. I'm a trauma-informed life therapist, mental wellness expert, and global speaker. And through a blend of clinical psychology, spiritual wellness, and subconscious reprogramming, I absolutely love to hold space for professionals like you, entrepreneurs, creatives, students. And my main purpose and my passion is supporting people in transforming their pains, their traumas into power and purpose. And this includes, which we'll focus on today, this includes breaking free from any anxiety, from any stress, overwhelm, any burnout, not by working harder, as the hyper-masculinity context of the society that we live in pushes us to. But by working smarter and by working more in alignment with our natural rhythm flows as females, with our natural energy. And this is something not only that I teach, but I absolutely live by. And after spending 11 plus years in the corporate world, specifically actually also in tech, I had to learn the hard way. I believe that if I wasn't working, what was I doing? I was falling behind. I used to overwork, sometimes skipping meals, overcommitting, and I got used to that feeling of when you're in bed and then you have that thought of like, oh my God, I haven't done this. Got so used to that feeling. I was not resting even when I should have been resting. And so that's where for me, energy management and learning all about the masculine, feminine energies just went into full force. And I'll talk more about what that means for you. Why does it even matter? What is the importance of it? Just have a quick question for you, because I would love to get an understanding of what you think the biggest cause of burnout is. A, B, C, and D. A being working too many hours, B being a lack of balance, C being ignoring your natural rhythms, and D being people pleasing and overcommitting. You know what, let's actually add E in there, which is all the above. Now, the truth of the answer is it's all of them. But the one that really underpins everything is C, ignoring your natural rhythms. And why this happens, it's not necessarily anything that you are doing wrong. So this is, as we're going through this, it's not to blame anyone, it's not to shame anyone. So please have that in the back of your mind. We're curiously exploring. None of us have been doing anything wrong per se, but maybe it's more about efficiency. We just haven't been working in the way that's most efficient for us, for our natural rhythms and our natural flows. Let's actually take a look at what is time management versus energy management. So time management is about controlling the clock, never having enough hours in the day. And as some people will say, you've got the same hours as Beyonce, get it done. I don't even know how she gets it done, but I know she's using her energy. And it's controlling the clock, and it's also exerting masculine energy. The doing energy is the focused energy, it's the logical, it's the structure, it's the go-getter, it's the ambitious element, which is so needed. So all of this is not to say you need to be one or the other, because actually, regardless of our gender, we're both. We're naturally the yin and the yang. We are masculine and feminine energetically. However, because of the societal context, we have been pushed into the hyper masculine society that we live in. That means that we are more doing instead of actually nurturing our feminine, or even just bringing the feminine into the element, into the equation. Which brings me into energy management. Energy management is about mastering your natural feminine rhythms and flow. And your feminine energy is all about being. Because remember, we're human beings, we're not human doers. Yes, we can do, but we really are human beings. It's about nurturing your flows, it's about your intuition, your creativity, your empathy, your compassion, your kindness, your softness, your gentleness. All of that is your femininity, and there's a power in that. Your soft skills are your feminine energy. What leads to burnout a lot of the times is the misbalance of the two, is the overexertion of the masculine. So if we're thinking about time management and wanting to schedule every single hour, every single minute of our day, what if your energy gets drained by midday after lunch? What happens then? How much of that plan actually gets done? Now, I know a lot of you have been in that situation. I've been in that situation where there's a big long to-do list for the day, and by the time it's lunchtime, my brain is done. Like I've done. We're energetic beings, first of all, and secondly, we've got finite energy resource. And because we've got that, we have to use it strategically, and that's where the feminine is about. The feminine is strategically using your energy. And the real secret as part of that strategy is knowing that you don't have to work harder. All you simply need to do is align your tasks, your activities, your life with your natural flow. I recommend using this mantra, which is woman, which is working on my aligned nature, to remind you that you operate in cycles. We all operate in cycles. not in structures. Our nervous system thrives in flow, not in force. And again, these masculine and feminine energies, they exist in all of us. They're part of who we are, and it's about harmonizing the two. Because when we stop forcing these masculine structures on ourselves and tune into our natural feminine nature, we unlock a whole new level of productivity, which comes with ease, which comes with flow. And I'm gonna go in a little bit deeper. It's important for us to understand why women work differently, and also what are those blockers. Some of those blockers, like I mentioned, comes from society context of hypermasculine patriarchy, which we all know, we were born in it, we're surviving in it. But times are changing, and part of that hypermasculine is the hustle culture, is the overworking as a badge of honor, is the productivity over presence. That can only get you so far, and it's not working anymore. That's why burnout is as prevalent as it is. And what's important for us is to remember that as women, we are the portals of creation, literally. We not only create life, we create ideas, and the same way with Mother Earth, we're nurturers, and that's our superpower. And another element, and this is to go even deeper, the root cause of some of those blockages takes us all the way back to our childhood. And I call these the inner child archetypes. And many of us, like I mentioned before, grow up seeking validation, and a lot of that validation meant we were either forced or pushed into overachieving, being productive, to not only feel worthy, to feel love. And so that meant we ended up embodying different survival archetypes. The hyper independent. I am a recovering hyper independent girly, and that's your masculine energy in overdrive. You don't necessarily need help, you struggle to receive support, and you're always doing everything alone. You can do it all. And yes, so we're super women, you can do it all, but do you have to? No, you don't have to. And you go further by asking for help. But that's something that as hyper independent girlies, we have to learn. And then you've got the overachiever. Again, that's your masculine energy in overdrive. Always chasing the next goal, tying your self-worth to accomplishments, and feels restless when you're not doing anything quote unquote productive. And then the avoidant one, which is again your masculine energy, but your masculine energy is actually shut down. And that's disconnected from your emotions, from your soft skills. Everything is logical, intellectualized, and avoiding vulnerability and struggling to surrender to intuition and rest. And so the overusing of these masculine energies, all of them lead to burnout. They lead to procrastination and stagnation, and they lead to staying in the survival mode where we constantly are reacting instead of actually creating our lives with intention, creating our schedules with intentions, realizing we're the ones in control, and redirecting our energy to actually what's going to be of the biggest impact for us with minimum effort. And so the beautiful shift that's happening right now, going from ultra masculine energies into the power of the feminine and working within your feminine, is first of all realizing that we don't have to stay in these ways of thinking and these traps. We don't. We're reclaiming our power by honoring our cycles, but being again in tune with our flows and with nature and the seasons of who and how we are. And I'm going to invite you, whilst that's sinking in, think of the last time where you were super productive, where you felt work, life, with this relationship, you just felt love, you felt good. I want you to hold on to the feeling, savor that feeling, because that is the feeling that we are wanting more times than not. We don't want it to be a treat. It's a feeling that actually we want to create and harness on a daily basis, because that is you in your power. So how do you start reclaiming your power? It's within these 3 steps. The first one is aligning your energy with your menstrual cycle. I know. The menstrual cycle has been demonized even since I was a kid, and it's only now I'm realizing, oh wait, no. I'll dig deeper into how you can do that in a moment. And the second is working in sync with your energy. So again, thinking of when is the best time to use your masculine energy, which is the structure, the doing, the excursion, the discipline, the focus, and actually when it's best to use your feminine energy, which is your intuitive beingness, which is creativity, your empathy, your strategy, your flow. flow, because we need both. And the third is rewiring our productivity beliefs. Rest is not lazy. It's actually super productive because it's strategic. We need to rest in order for us to actually move further forward. And I know a lot of us feel guilty for not resting because we've been conditioned that being busy, being productive is valuable. You're doing something. It's that badge of honor. But really the real badge of honor and the real success and the real power comes when you know when to pause, to reset, and you know when to push and go forward. So in the chat, let me know if that resonates as well. And I'd love to know if you've been practicing this already. If you're aware of this, let me know, because we need more and more of us to be aware of it. And so what does that actually look like? And how do you align your energy cycles with your menstrual cycle? So as women, again, if you've had experience with your period in the past, or you currently are having periods, our body goes through cycles every single month. Whether we like it or not, whether we're in tune with it or not, it goes in cycles. And when you start to intentionally tune yourself into those cycles, you start to realize like, oh wait, I have 4 phases in the month. And those 4 phases, we actually can correlate them to the seasons of the earth. And we've got winter, we've got autumn, we've got spring, we've got summer. And in relation to winter is when you're actually on your period. That's when you're cleansing, that's when you're detoxing. And that's your time for you to reflect, where you can rest and recharge, because your body is doing a lot anyway. And that's why we have lower energy naturally. Naturally, we prefer deeper rest. We are wanting to just be left alone and just be and just cocoon. That is indicative of our natural flow and our presence and the way that actually where we're supposed to be during that time and what we're supposed to be doing. And so action for that is prioritize recovery, sleep, inner reflection, what is coming up for you mentally and emotionally, and how do you take care of yourself. Maybe it's meditating, maybe you love journaling, maybe it's herbal teas, maybe it's going for a walk, and also saying no, and saying no with no guilt. No is a complete sentence. And then the next stage after that is the spring, and that stage is the follicular phase. And that's when you're getting a little bit more energy, and you might want to be brainstorming, and this is perfect for like initiating ideas and even executing, inviting a little bit of that masculine in there. So here you can set your goals, you can start projects, and it's also a great time for you to try new things, to socialize, to embrace creativity, and just be in tune with that rise in your energy. And then you have the ovulation phase. Now this is referred to as summer, and this is more about like communicating, about collaborating, about showing up, and the energy when it's at its peak, you're feeling confident. You know, sometimes when you're just feeling good, the charisma, everything is flowing, you're just glowing, you're radiating. And this is perfect for taking action, for public speaking, for networking, for content creation. And how can you do this? How can you take care of yourself during the season? It's by dancing, it's socializing, it's expressing yourself fully. And then the last phase is what you would refer to as the autumn phase. And this is the phase just before your period. And at this point, you want to focus on like organizing, unwinding, because the energy here, naturally your energy is starting to decline because it's about to go into the full menstrual. And it's time to slow down and preparing for rest. And so this is action-wise, this is a perfect time for you to be tying up loose ends, decluttering, setting boundaries. Again, going back to that no. Don't do what you don't want to do unless you want to do it. And this is perfect for having quiet nights in, warm baths, and maybe doing gentler movements of gentler yoga, tai chi, like however for you, workouts, however for you feel is gentle. This is the perfect time to do that. And so what I want now to imagine for you, because I know this is not just my story, because every single high achiever, ambitious person that I work with experiences that same shift. Because when you align your energy, or when you align with your energy, instead of fighting it, instead of suppressing it or pushing it or shaming it, you really unlock the greatest part of yourself, your greatest power, creativity, productivity, and just full on success and contentment. And so I want to imagine yourself waking up and knowing exactly when to push forward and exactly when to pause, without guilt. You're just in flow. Imagine scheduling yourself, work, life, doing activities that just feel effortless instead of feeling forced. And it's not just wishful thinking of like, oh yeah, that would be nice, must be nice for people to do that. No, you can have that. And I need you to believe that is possible. If this resonated, I would love for you to let me know in the chat. I welcome all feedback. And if you're ready to start or continue working like a woman, please let's stay connected. And if you want to learn more about what I do, whether it's from one-to-one sessions, whether it's talks and workshops, or even personalized meditations, please get in touch. Like, I will be putting in my LinkedIn, my socials in the chat. And also you're more than welcome to visit my website, which is www.theinnerverses.co.uk. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. And thank you so much for holding the space and taking this time.